Hi, I'm Roshan Thiran, and you're watching the Leaderonomics Show. Today we'll be talking to an interesting person, Evamaria de Boer, who is the Global Human Resource Director at Exact. Evamaria is interesting because she is a person who grew up from the ranks, all the way from a personnel officer, all the way into a senior strategic HR director. So we'll be talking to her about the intricacies of the HR function. We'll be trying to understand how does the HR function think, and how does one become successful in the HR function. So join me in my discussion with Evamaria as we explore the human resource function. Welcome to the Leaderonomics Show. I'm with Evamaria de Boer, Human Resource Director of Exact, here with us in Malaysia. Evamaria, welcome to Malaysia and welcome here. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you end up in HR and how did you end up in Exact?
Yeah, ending up in HR was just a coincidence. After my high school, I really had no clue what to do. So I started to study law, because it is a very broad study if you don't know what to do.
Did your parents force you to study law?
No, they didn't force me, but it was more forced to study. And then if you have no clue, you choose something that is pretty broad, so that was law. And then on a certain moment I thought I will start to work also, because I was not a very fast student, so I start to work. And then it was a coincidence that I started in an agency for temping, a temping agency. And that was the moment that I saw how important work is for people and how important people are for companies. And on that moment I thought, okay, now I know what I want to do. This is the field in which I want to work. So I also switched to an HR study, and I finalized that. And then the company grew and grew, and I had the opportunity to grow with the company. Yep. And that's the way I ended up in HR. And I think still one of the very beautiful parts in a company.
You know, HR is quite interesting because I accidentally went into HR also, somewhat after running businesses. But it's one of those functions that frustrate people. People kind of hate HR and love HR. And at the same time, we know that people in a company are their biggest assets. Yet people are always our biggest liability because they cause a lot of problems. And HR kind of has to jiggle between that. What were some of your challenges and some of the issues that you struggled with in HR?
Yeah, now I think this is really the big issue in HR, and I must say that for me the thing that is really making HR so a nice part of the company is that you are really in the middle of the company. In most companies, really people make the difference. Yeah. And being the one who is responsible to be the glue on one side, but also making that everything is running smooth and that you have on the right moment the right number of people with the right skills. Yes, this is pretty challenging.
Yeah. And how, I mean, many people view HR as kind of a backroom function, not really a front end stuff. Yet many times the HR function, it should be a very strategic and credible function. Yeah. Why is that, and how do we help HR elevate itself to that level?
I think of course, there are many companies struggling in that it is just a back office role. And I think it's also pretty important that back office is okay and that everything goes smooth, because that's really basic. Yeah. If you don't have the basic running smooth, you don't have a starting point to go into the more strategic part. And then I think if you go in the strategic part, the most important thing is that you really know the business and be close to the business and know what's going on in the business. Yep. And I see quite often also HR people that really have no clue what is really going on in the business. And if you don't understand the strategic choices, If you don't understand what the business needs are, then how should you help the business to grow?
Yeah, no, you make a very good point, because I think one of the frustrations that business has with HR is that you don't get me, you don't understand why we have to do certain things. How does a HR person learn those skills to be a partner with the business? Because it seems one of the big gaps that many HR folks have is to struggle to understand, to have business acumen, to have financial acumen, and to be able to partner with the business leaders to drive the business forward. How does one learn that?
How can HR become a true business partner? I think that's really a good question. It's also something I struggled with also in my career. And it has to do that you really get to understand the business, that you are curious, that you talk to people, that you are really interested in also understanding the numbers, getting the strategy, and also make sure that you can translate the strategy into the business needs. And from the business needs in what are the competences that employees should have, not only now, but also in the future.
And how do they learn that? I mean, is there a way to learn that? How did you learn it?
Just by doing. And by being also in, and I think that's something that helps, of course, if you are in a company where also the senior management, the CEO, feels that is important.
Okay.
I always think that in a company where the CEO has no interest in HR, it's really tough for HR to become the really business partner and really be one who is having a seat at the table.
Okay. Just hold that thought. I'm speaking to Evamaria from Exact, and we'll be right back to talk and drill deeper into this whole thing about the HR function. We'll be right back. Ever felt invisible at work?
Top 10 ways to prepare yourself
Top
for a
10
great
ways to
day
handle
at work.
criticism at
Top
work.
10 reasons why talents leave companies.
Welcome back. I'm speaking to Evamaria de Boer from Exact, the head of Global Human Resources. Eva, we were talking a little bit about the HR function and the struggles that the HR function goes through to try to become a credible and sort of strategic function. In your experiences, what are some things you did successfully that enable you to become a strategic and credible leader in HR?
Yeah, I think being I think that I also had the opportunity in my career to have broader roles. So I also had responsibilities in business. I was also responsible in a former company for integration of 2 companies.
Oh wow, okay.
So being part, having also an experience that is broader than just HR can be extremely helpful because that makes that you understand a little bit about the business.
And do you recommend that? Because I mean, a lot of HR leaders, I worked at General Electric for many years, and my old boss, Bill Connolly, was actually from a plant. I myself was running businesses before I jumped in, and it makes a whole lot of difference. Do you recommend that all HR folks have at least a rotation outside of HR to gain that? Would that be something that would work?
Yeah, I think that definitely work. I think that having, but not only for HR, I think also in broader roles, that if you have a broader understanding of the company, that's really something every leader should have, and not just having just one specialty, but I think you have to broaden up.
In HR, you have talent management, you have employee engagement, you have work-life balance, you have different themes that are popping up every couple of years in regards to the focus of HR. What do you think, in today's world and age, what do you think should be the primary focus and area that HR zooms in, and what are you doing here in Exact in the HR space?
Yeah, for us it is, of course, we are a growing business. So for us it is extremely important to bring the people in and keep them on board.
Okay.
So from that perspective...
and how do you do that? I mean, what are things that you guys are doing?
The employer value proposition is of course something that is a hot topic at the moment.
Talk to us about the EVP.
Yeah, for me it's also always difficult what exactly it is. And I think for me it is everything a company is offering to their employees, and the employee giving back the work, but what we are offering. And the thing we have to do there is to figure out what is really making the difference there. For me, it is what people tell on a birthday party about their job, about what makes it for them important and what they like about working at Exact. And I think that there, of course, we here in ADC, that's our development center. Yeah. And for IT persons, it's of course extremely important that they have really the latest IT stuff they can work with. And there you have to understand what do I explain to people? What are my USPs if I want to get people on board? And then for us it is the technology we can offer. Of course it is important the work-life balance that we people have. It's something people are really struggling with, I think all over the world, not only here but also in other countries. People also want to really make the difference, and they want to have impact with what they are doing. That's also very important.
The whole sense of purpose.
That's the purpose that you have. And they want to develop themselves. And I think that to develop themselves on the technical skills, but of course also in as a leader, as a person, as a manager, and supporting that, that can make the difference. And that's.
Let me ask you, and if somebody says, I want to be just like you, I want to be like Evamaria, and I want to be a successful HR person, and this person is a young person just coming up, kind of just graduated and coming out into the workspace, what kind of advice would you give that young person with regards to being successful and being a successful HR person essentially?
Yeah, I think important is that I would definitely. I think in the more younger generation now, I would say be patient. Okay. What I see quite often, but perhaps I don't know if you see that often also in this part of the world.
We want to we want to go faster. And become CEO faster.
Exactly. It is
become rich faster.
Always looking to the next step in the career, and I always say, okay, get the most out of it what you are doing today.
Yeah. So it's really built some foundational depth.
Yeah, foundation and depth. And take your time also to get everything out of the role you are having right now. Ask also your manager that you have now to help you to develop yourself. Absolutely. So that's an important part. Take also your own responsibility. I quite often see people say, okay, what can you offer? And I say, okay, it should be on both sides. Be in the driver's seat of your own career, and I think that are the most important things to do.
Yeah, just one final question before I end, and a quick one, is if you were to advise a CEO on HR matters and really to give him advice, as a CEO, what one or two nuggets of wisdom would you impart to him or her?
Yeah, I think that align with people, that's for me a very important one. I think that for me, a good leader is someone who really is a kind of a guide, knows where to go, but on the other hand, inspire people and also enable them. Yep. And make sure that it are not just individuals, yep, but that you bond them, and that 1 and 1 is not 2, but 3. Absolutely. And if you are able to do that as a CEO and make sure that you are in contact with your people, then I think you are a great leader and you will be extremely successful.
Well, thank you very much. I'd love to continue this conversation, but we're out of time. So we're here again speaking to Evamaria de Boer from Exact. Thank you again for being part of the show. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.